Hi, welcome to Fantasy Football Review video. In this Fantasy Football Review video, we're talking about absolutely everything that you know about fantasy football. That is a platform that you need to try out, it's a platform that you need to check out, it's a platform that will be of benefit to you, or just another platform out there that you need to run away from and not waste your time and money on. We'll be looking at all of it in this Fantasy Football Review video. We're also looking at what fantasy football is all about. That is, what are the features, what are the benefits of fantasy football, what do you stand to gain using fantasy football, and as well, we'll be looking at the users of fantasy football. That is, who can actually make use of fantasy football. We'll be looking at all of this in this fantasy football review video. We're also looking at the pros and the cons, that is, the good and the bad side of fantasy football. For any product out there that is doing amazing, that is doing well, if you look at it very carefully, you find out that it's also got its own bad side. So we're looking at the interesting part and as well as the bad side of fantasy football. We're also looking at the pricing plans, that is the different pricing plans that fantasy football has got in store for you, as to the different features, as to the different capabilities, as to what they can actually handle, which is why it is very important for you to stick to the end of this fantasy football review video. So I get us all the pricing plans that fantasy football has got in store for you. We're also looking at what others are saying about fantasy football. That is the present and existing users of fantasy football, what they are saying about it, which means you do not necessarily have to listen to all I have to say about fantasy football, but you get to see what other users of fantasy football are saying about it. We're also looking at my final recommendation as to what I personally feel about fantasy football. It's a platform that I need to try out, it's a platform that I need to check out, it's a platform that will be of benefit to you, or just another time wasting and money wasting platform out there that you need to run away from. Which is why it is very important for you to stick to the end of this fantasy football review video. So I get to show the important tips I'm about to drop about fantasy football. Now to fantasy football review info. This is fantasy football homepage. This is fantasy football homepage. Now, what does fantasy football actually do? Fantasy football is actually a fantasy Premier League tips type lifts up that actually empowers you to be able for you to be able to optimize your team, make informed decisions, and stay competitive in your league. So if you're a fantasy Premier League enthusiast looking to actually make informed decisions and drive success in your fantasy Premier League, you can actually make use of fantasy football to help to achieve this. Now, let's look at the pros of fantasy football. Number one, it provides you with a thorough analysis of your fantasy Premier League team. That is a mix of fantasy football. Fantasy football actually provides you a My Team feature, which is a comprehensive and powerful tool that is powered by AI that provides you with a thorough analysis of your fantasy Premier League team, rating your squad and suggesting the optimal starting 11, while also offering personalized recommendations for transfers, predicting points for upcoming game weeks, and providing with actionable insights to inform your decision making, allowing you to fine tune your team and stay competitive in your league. Number two, it also provides you with personalized transfer recommendations tailored to your squad. That is a mix of fantasy football. Fantasy football provides you an AI transfer feature, which actually is a sophisticated tool that leverages advanced algorithm and machine learning to provide you with personalized transfer recommendations that is tailored to your squad, taking into account a wide range of factors, including player form, opposition, upcoming fixtures, and head-to-head records, enabling you to make informed decisions and maximize your points, while also allowing you to be able to identify potential hidden gems and undervalued players. Number three, it also provides you with mini league analyzer tool. As a mix of fantasy football. Fantasy football provides you with a mini league analyzer tool, which allows you to gain a competitive edge in the mini league by tracking your rivals' performances, analyzing team strengths and weaknesses, and identifying areas of vulnerability, allowing you to plan your strategy and make data-driven decisions to outsmart your opponents and emerge victorious. Number four, to significantly save you time, money, and stress. That is the time, the money, and the stress that is involved in you trying to actually employ this as a professional or going through the traditional way or manual way, trying to actually become victorious and succeed in your fantasy Premier League. It actually saves you that time, saves you that money, and as well as the stress. Number five, it also provides you with access to an extensive and detailed database of statistics and analysis. That is a mix of fantasy football. Fantasy football provides an OPTA stats feature which provides you with access to an extensive and detailed database of statistics and analysis, covering various aspects of the game, including player performance, team form, head-to-head records, enabling you to drill down into the data and uncover trends, patterns, and insights that inform your decision making and drive your success in fantasy Premier League. Number six, they've got a great customer support. Now, for any product that you're newly introduced to, there's likelihood that you might encounter some difficulties while trying to use it for the first time. That's where the customer support comes in. They're always available to you whenever you contact them to help to resolve whatever issues, whatever difficulties that might be having, so that you can have a smooth and great sale. Number seven, it also provides you with a range of calendars and planners that cater to your specific needs. That is, they make use of fantasy football. Fantasy football actually provides a calendar and planner feature, which is actually a very flexible and customizable tool that allows you to stay organized and focused, providing you with a range of calendars and planners that will cater to your specific needs, helping you to keep track of upcoming features, transfer deadlines, and other important events, ensuring you are always prepared for the next game week and can plan your strategy with confidence. Now to the cons of fantasy football. As I thought making this fantasy football review video, I've not really found any bad side as to fantasy football. But for any product out there that is doing amazing, that is doing well, there is always room for improvement. So I feel fantasy football can actually be better. They can actually improve on their services. Probably they can actually cover more features as opposed to the number of features that they cover. As I thought making this fantasy football review video. Now to the cons of fantasy football. The best minimum plan for you to get started with fantasy football is £4.98 per month. The best minimum plan for you to get started with fantasy football is £4.98 per month. For advanced other pricing plans, as to the different features, as to the different capabilities, as to what they can actually handle, and for you to see the pricing plans that are most stable for your own usage, there's a link in this video description that you can actually click on to see the full pricing for the various packages and the offers, and as well as the discounts that they come with. We want to see different pricing plans that fantasy football has got in store for you, as to the different features, as to the different capabilities, as to what they can actually handle. And for you to see the pricing plans that are most stable for your own usage, there's a link in this video description that you can actually click on to see the full pricing for the various packages and the offers, and as well as the discounts that they come with. Like I said before, the best minimum plan for you to get started with fantasy football is £4.98 per month. Now, to the users of fantasy football, this is Adric. It's a fantasy football hub is a great place. If you are in FPL and data net, you can play with all data, numerous stats, see its maps, compare players, use the models for predictions, get access to top FPL players articles, and many more. It has been a great experience for me, and I would highly recommend people to explore and unleash a whole new side to playing the game. Alright, this is Jackson. Jackson said the effort to audio for FPL planning and recommendation that give you the edge on the competition in your mini leagues. Alright, now to my final recommendation as to what I personally feel about fantasy football. So I'll say it's got a great platform that is reasonably easy to use. It's highly efficient for empowering fantasy Premier League enthusiasts to optimize their teams, make informed decisions, and stay competitive in their leagues, while also providing expert insights, news, and updates to enhance their overall fantasy football experience. It will save you time and stress and also get you the best out of your efforts by exponentially enhancing you to inform your decision making and drive your success in fantasy Premier League. It also got a great customer support, like I said before. It's got a great customer support. They're always available to you whenever you contact them. And as well, it's also got a free trial. So you want to try fantasy football for free, they've got a free trial for you. So there's no risk involved. You are safe. I will say again, they are worth it because they serve the primary function of the fantasy Premier League tips up out there. Now, for me, I'm saying about fantasy football, and if you fantasy football is something like to try out, something like to check out, something you want to use to inform your decision making and drive your success in fantasy Premier League, there's a special link in this video description that you can actually click on right now to get started at a very unusual discounted price that you won't find elsewhere. If you want to have fantasy football, also fantasy football can actually do for you. There's a special link in this video description that you can actually click on right now to get started at a very unusual discounted price that you won't find elsewhere. Thank you for watching my video review. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And if you've got any questions or any inquiries about fantasy football, don't forget to make use of the comment section. And I will try as much as possible to attend to each and every question asked. Thank you for watching my video review once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel.